Hey everybody, it's great to talk to you again. You are not seeing us, we are not hearing you, but it is great to be in community with the Hanshin Tigers fan community. My name is T-Ray, also known as Trevor, or opposite, I'm Trevor, also known as T-Ray. But anyways, I am who I am. You probably know me from H10 Hanshin Tigers English News, which is no longer a thing, but myself and my awesome sidekick for today and always, Sanjay is with me as well. What's up, brother?
Aloha, brother T-Ray. It has been a little bit, a minute or two, but it's always good to be here talking Tigers with you.
It certainly is. And, this is something that was probably the hardest thing for me to let go of when I did let go of doing H10. The podcasting is always fun, and the biggest reason for that is because I got to chat with my man Sanjay out in Hawaii. So it's good to hear your voice. Let's get to it right now. Basically what we're doing, we're at the midway point of the season right now, or we're past the midway point, we're at the All-Star break. So we want to break down how the season has gone so far for the Tigers, how the season has gone individually for some of the players, and what to expect in the final 50 plus games of the year. Are we going to repeat as champions in 2026? So it's time to recap some of the action. All right, Sanjay. So we're going to do this kind of month by month. Basically, how did we do in April, May, June, and July up to this point? And so the tail of the tape tells us that for April, we finished the month 17 wins, 9 losses, and 1 tie. I would say that's pretty darn good because that's close to like 667 baseball. That is an impressive record, is it not?
That's a great start to a season, man.
Yeah. So we actually won the first trip through the CL. Like we took 2 out of 3 from the Giants, 2 out of 3 from the Bay Stars, 2 out of 3 from the Carp, 2 out of 3 from the Swallows, and we swept the Dragons to start the year. So 11-4, wicked start. We sputtered a little bit after that, but we did get to 17-9-1, which is pretty good. And then the month of May, we started with a loss. We ended the month of May in Interleague, and at this point, we were 30-21-1, which means that we had a 13-12 record, 13-12 record for May. So not great, but not bad. But I think typically, I feel like, man, May has been a good month for the Tigers overall. I always feel like heading into Interleague, we look invincible. And then the Pacific League slaps us in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. This year, not so much the case. Like I said, not a great record, but we did, man, I'll tell you, there was a great stretch basically from April 26th through May 12th, in which we had 6 shutout wins.
Gotta love the pitching at that point.
Yeah, and also, we had not had a shutout loss on the year to this point. And then suddenly, from May 15th through May 26th, we had 3 shutout losses. Anyhow, so 13-12 in May. And as I said, we're already into Interleague at this point. We had gone 2-4 in the first week of Interleague by the end of May. And then the rainy season hit, and we started to miss games upon games upon games. So for the month of June, though, we did not do so well. We ended June 38-31-1, which means we were a -2 on the month. We were 8-10. We only played 18 games because of all the rainouts.
Yep, unfortunately, but we almost held serve, or were 500, I guess, something like that.
Yeah, in spite of a terrible Interleague. We'll get a little bit more to depth in that in a little bit, but that was not a fun time of the year. Actually, you know what? Why don't we just touch on that right now? So we played the Pacific League from May 26th through June. It ended up stretching to the 17th of June because we had to make up some games. But we went, I don't remember exactly, but it was 6-12, wasn't it?
I think that's right, yeah.
I mean, it was despicable. We swept the Eagles, and then we took 1 from each of, I think the Buffaloes we took 1, and the Marines we took 2, and that's it, right? That's our 6 wins. And we got swept by the Fighters, the Lions, and the Hawks.
Ouch.
Yeah, and 2 of those were at home. I believe, or one of them, sorry. So we played the Fighters at home and got swept, and then the other 2 were on the road. Anyhow, 6-12. Oh man, to me, that was just a really hard time to go through. Last year, we had a 7-game losing streak during Interleague, and that was really hard because a lot of those were actually come from behind or for the other team come from behind, we blew leads in like I think 6 out of those 7 games.
All right, though, but to be fair, like last year, I believe the
Yep.
Central League as a whole was not performing that well against the Pacific League. So, in terms of relative standing, we didn't give up that much ground.
We
Correct?
didn't. We didn't. You're correct, and I'll touch on that in just a second. Actually, I did want to mention though we didn't lose 7 straight this year in interleague, but we did lose 6 out of 7 at one point. And during that time, yeah, we scored 4 runs twice. The rest of the time, we had 2 runs or fewer, and we actually gave up 3 runs or fewer in 1, 2, 3, 4 out of those 6 losses. So it wasn't on our pitching there; it was definitely our batting that did not step up to the plate. So on that note, Sanjay, you were saying that we didn't lose a lot of ground during interleague. The fact of the matter is, we started interleague tied with the Yakult Swallows for first place. We ended interleague half a game back of the Yomiuri Giants. So we were a half game out of second, or half game out of first, I should say.
First,
Um,
right? Yeah.
and we were tied for first at the start. So yeah, we really didn't lose much ground. Unfortunately, Yomiuri did catch up in a big way during interleague because they were the only Central League team that actually had fun against the Pacific.
Oh well.
Yeah, oh well. And as we're going to see in a little bit, they are basically the only team we have to worry about in terms of catching us or in terms of taking the crown from us. They're the only team we have to
Exactly.
worry about moving forward, really. Okay, so
Exactly.
anyways, June, as I said, we ended with a losing record. We did have a winning record in July, though. We went 12-9. So actually 12-9, like as an overall record, if you took a 12-9 record every month of the year of the season, like you're actually in pretty good shape. It doesn't sound good on its own, but you tack those on top of each other, like in a 6 month season, that would put you at what, if you stretch it out, that's like
18 games.
72
Yeah.
and where's my math? 54,
Hmm.
right? And that's not a full season. That's pretty close. But you look at that, like 72 and 54 is actually pretty good. You're what, again, where's my math? 18 over 500.
Yep.
Which is decent, right? So like a 12-9 month, I'll take that almost any month of the year. Of course, you want to have better months than that, but that's not bad. We've got only
Right.
one game left in July, so essentially the best we can do is 13-9 for the month. So again, for a monthly record, a 13-9 would be I'd be all smiles with that.
Right. And I would point out that QG himself, the manager, said that we hardly had losing streaks, like consecutive losing games in
Yep.
July. And he's
Yep.
right because it only happened once at the beginning of the month, July 2nd and 3rd,
Yep.
uh, versus Chunichi and Hiroshima. So it wasn't even the same team.
Hmm.
And then with also two versus the Giants.
Right. Yeah, and we did have that great stretch there where we won 5 straight series. Like
Yep.
the 3 game series thing. And actually the 2 before that we just tied. We tied with rainouts in them. Or the previous 3, I should say that. So, we hadn't lost a series since a rain abbreviated single game against the Swallows on June 23rd. We rained out the 2 subsequent games. So
That's
yeah,
not
like
bad.
we were pretty consistent in our winning ways, despite the fact that really like I don't know, it's been an interesting year, man. And we'll talk about this in just a second because we're going to look at individual players and how they've been performing. But like we actually hit quite a few home runs in July, but we didn't produce that many runs, truth be told. So again, we'll look at that in a second because we're going to look at individual performances. I do want to point one more thing out about the standings, just because, me being who I am, like I kind of track stuff on my own a little bit and just keep standings that I think are interesting or whatever. But basically, I only started writing this down at the end of April because I figured it didn't matter before that. Basically, like where were we in the standings and how much behind or ahead of first place were we?
Hmm.
So on April 30th, we were a game back of the Swallows, 1.0. Or no, we were a game ahead of the Swallows. Sorry, we were a game ahead. 1 game up on the Swallows on April 30th. That was the first time I wrote it down. The
Hmm.
furthest we ever fell behind was 2 games, and that was to the Swallows on May 17th. That was the furthest away from first we have been all season since April 30th. And the furthest that we've ever gotten ahead has also been 2 games, and that was against Yomiuri on July 14th. That's the furthest ahead we've been. So there's always been 2 games or fewer, actually fewer than 2 games, really,
Yeah.
since April 30th, from the top of the standings, from us and the second place, or from the first place team and us.
Right.
So it's been a really interesting year in that sense. Like even the times that we've gone through rough patches, so has the next best team. And even
Yeah,
the times that
exactly.
we've been really good, so has the next best team.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So it's just a crazy year, and it almost feels like I don't know. Like part of me feels like it's going to be like this the rest of the way, but then part of me also feels like you know what? One of these two teams, either us or the Giants, are going to pull ahead in the end. So we're both sitting at 50 wins and 40 losses right now, us and the Giants. The Giants
Mm-hmm.
have two ties and we have one tie. So we kind of have a game in hand. So technically, like if we win that extra game, then we finish a half game ahead of the Giants if everything else remains equal.
Right.
Right. And so the Giants and the Swallows were, like, it was the three of us in tandem, right? Like it was, we're just playing leapfrog with each other
Mm-hmm.
for weeks and weeks on end. But the Swallows went through the nastiest July that I've seen since the Carp September weekly or annual swoon. They were awful. And so now they are 6.5 games back. So
Yeah.
essentially, I count them as down and out. I really don't see them with their roster and with their momentum coming back into this race.
Well, to play devil's advocate,
Okay.
the third place team is between the Swallows and DNA right now, and whoever
Yes.
gets hot at the right time could be problematic for us.
In the playoffs, but not for the
Yes.
pennant.
Not for the pennant. No, correct.
Right. Right. I mean, they may be problematic in that they'll factor into the pennant, but not in the sense that they'll take the pennant.
Correct.
Hanshin Tigers English news. Hanshin Tigers English news. Hanshin Tigers English news. Hanshin Tigers English news. Hot topics. Hot topics.
Right. Okay, let's actually look now at how our players have been doing. So we looked at how the team has done on the whole, but how about the players? And we'll kind of go through the lineup from top to bottom as it typically is. And so we'll start at number one, right, with Koji Shikamoto. And as you and I, and probably most of the people listening now know, he went down with a broken wrist. He got hit by a pitch against the Carp on April the 26th, and he remained out until, correct me if I'm wrong, July 11th or 12th?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yes. So anyhow, 2.5 months without the service of our outstanding leadoff man. As we also know, he is typically a slow starter, and April is never his best month. And April wasn't a great month for him. And since coming back, let's be honest, he hasn't been his usual self yet.
No, but isn't it comforting to see him there in the number one slot in roaming center field?
It is. And I think especially knowing that he will get back to his awesome form at some point. Again, if we factor in the slow starter thing, we can even say that this is a new start. And so we might even expect like roughly a month of subpar Chikamoto. So
Oh, don't say
maybe
that.
so maybe in August he heats up. But great.
He looked good yesterday already.
Yeah, he was all right yesterday. Sure, sure. I'll give you that. Although, yeah, we only got the one run, but that's okay. All right, so that's Chikamoto in a nutshell. I will say this though. I don't expect a lot of extra base hits from him this year. I don't even expect a home run from him this year, which would be a first for him. And I'm not
Agreed.
even sure about his stolen base total. Like he's still just sitting on 6, and he hasn't stolen one since coming back, I don't think. And
Yeah,
he's been
that's
caught stealing
understandable
once or
though.
twice. So let's move on to your guy, number 2,
My man.
Nakano. Yes. What are your thoughts on Nakano so far?
Tell you what, the dude is practically hitting 300.
Mm-hmm.
You can't ask for much more than him. He's still playing a lot of stellarity, although he had a couple of untimely errors, as I recall, in recent games. Um, but he's been consistent. He's been hot. He's playing defense. He's playing offense. He's doing sacrifice
Yes,
bunts.
yes, yes.
I can't really ask for more from him
I knew
moving
that was
forward.
coming, the sack bunts. Yeah, and that's my beef. And it's not with Nakano. My beef is with how much he's required to bunt, given that his bat is so dangerous. I mean, like he's batting 300. He seems to have found a new level when it comes to just putting that ball in play and hitting it where they ain't.
Yeah, no. And so if you recall, when he first came up, he wasn't very good at bunting.
Yeah.
And we were saying, don't make him do sack bunts because you're better off letting him swing away. And I want to get back to that almost.
Yeah, I would love to see him just putting that ball in play and then tearing it up on the base paths. And again, this is a guy who has seems to have lost his stolen base game. And I don't know if this is the calls from the bench or his speed. I kind of feel like it's his speed. Like maybe stealing bases isn't his thing, but definitely running the base paths is still one of his strengths. Like he's still a well above average base runner.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so when you put guys like Morishita, Sato, and Oyama behind him, the stolen bases kind of matter less because those guys are mashing.
True. True
Right.
that.
So it doesn't matter what base you're standing on when Morishita's up there. I mean, he's hit 24 home runs. Let's segue right into him, our number 3 hitter, and in his 4th year since joining the team, and he's already set his career high for home runs in a season with 24. He hit his 24th back on July the 17th, and he's kind of hit a bit of a cold spell, but let's not dwell on that. Let's talk about how he's done so far this year. Give me your thoughts.
Mr. Clutch, DNA with ice cold veins. I don't know what you can say about him. The guy's like unbelievable, and he's still such a youngster.
So I posted an article that I saw on Daily Sports on Substack that said that he had his 50th career game-winning RBI.
Right.
And that was still earlier this season. So like at 3.5 seasons, he already had 50, which is putting him at an average of about 15 a year or about once every 10 games. Like that's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. It's ridiculous. No, totally. Mr. Clutch all the way.
And how many of those have been in the late innings? Like you can hit the game-winning RBI in the first inning. You know, theoretically, you put that first run on the board and the team never looks back. But at least when it comes to memorable and what we think when we hear the name Morishita, those are all walk-off home runs, even though in reality they aren't. It sure feels like it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got no beefs with him except maybe the fact that he got ejected from a game earlier this year because he was complaining about balls and strikes. And, you know, he definitely, like, he still kind of looks over the ump, or, you know, he's starting to get that reputation with the umpire crews in Japan of being a bit of a whiner, maybe.
Yeah, but, you know, to be fair, some of those calls were horrible. So I feel for him.
Suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it's just tough to see just because we know that in Japan it's kind of frowned upon, and so it definitely would be better if he wasn't doing that. But, you know, if the ABS does come into play, he will be well served, and he'll be a 300 hitter. He'll be hitting more home runs than he already has, and it's going to be party time for the Tigers until he goes to the majors.
Yep. But
And
in the
speaking of
meantime,
going to the majors,
that's how he wants to go. Yeah.
yeah. And speaking of that, though, our next guy up, you know, all I'm seeing on social media, and I don't know, I think it's unfounded, but they're all like, he's going to be going to the majors. He's going to be expected to be posted this offseason. I don't know about that. But anyways, Teruaki Sato, our number 4 hitter, currently sitting second on the team, second in the league with 22 home runs, but also top in RBI, top in average. I mean, this guy has got a triple crown in his sights.
Totally. And this is with a 40 at bat homerless streak. He's still like, and what did you say it was? He's like one hit in how many games?
Well, he had a 16 at bat hitless streak.
16 at bat hitless streak.
Yeah,
and he's still leading the league in batting average, which is ridiculous when you think about it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, no complaints about Sato. I mean, his error number is up, but whatever. I mean, it was exceptionally low last year, and I don't think any of his errors have been egregious this year. It's not like in 2024 when we all held our breath every time the ball got hit to third base.
Agreed.
Yeah. So very happy with Sato. Let's move on to the next guy, Yusuke Oyama, who actually has almost as many home runs this year already as he had all of last year, if I'm not mistaken. He's got 12 already this year, and he is third in the league in RBI. And so we have number 1, number 2, number 3 in RBI on our team. But what are your thoughts on Yusuke?
So you and I have chatted about this or texted about this in recent history, and he's the opposite of Morishita, Mr. Anti-Clutch.
Yes, it's very unfortunate to say. So I stand corrected. He's actually now 4th in the league in RBI because we gave up so many hits and RBIs to Dalbec over the weekend.
Oh,
but
no.
Anyhow,
yes.
All that said, you know, his 12 home runs are 1 shy of last year's total, 2 shy of 2024's total. So where he was trending downward in power, he has kind of brought it back up, which is great to see. But yeah, like I find like I don't have the number in front of me, but his average with runners in scoring position is 293, which is higher than his overall average, which makes it sound like he's clutch or that he's reliable. But I want to find what is his average with runners in scoring position in the last 3 or 4 innings of the game with the game on the line. I would guess that it's somewhere below 100. I'm
I don't have
exaggerating.
that number either, but that's what it feels like. Yes.
That is what it feels like. And so that's my kind of disappointment with him because he is, he's not the team captain or as far as having the C on his chest, but he definitely has that kind of role and responsibility with the team. And you could flip this on the positive side and say, well, thanks to him, Sato has been able to unleash the beast because he has a somewhat dangerous hitter behind him in Oyama that pitchers actually have to be honest with Sato. But I kind of feel like maybe they're going to stop being honest with Sato and I've seen it in recent games too, where they intentionally walk Sato or whatever the case might be, where Sato reaches base, but it doesn't cause any harm. And it's like, okay, now it's Yusuke's chance and a strikeout or an infield pop fly or whatever.
Ground into double play.
Yes. So sorry, Oyama-san, but you disappoint me. Okay, moving on. Our number 6 hitter is kind of floating here and there and always in flux and changing. The guy that I wish was still there would be Ukyo Maegawara, who had a 4-game home run hitting streak and was just starting to set the league on fire when all of a sudden he got hit by a pitch and broke, was it clavicle? Not clavicle, sorry. It was something in his back. I forget which
Well,
bone.
he got hit in the in his back, so shoulder blade.
Yeah, that's right. It was the shoulder blade. It was a fractured shoulder blade or whatever. My goodness. So that's going to keep him out for a long time. Yeah, I was starting to enjoy his at bats. I felt like he had a good presence in there, and that was sometime. Oh man, who was it? It was the Carp, wasn't it? So it was just like a week and a half ago that happened,
Yeah.
and so
So yeah,
he was funny zone. So since then, we've had different guys in there. Motoyama lately, shortstop has been the number
shortstop.
6 hitter, and it's too early to put a stamp on what we think about his performance so far. But I'm happy with it. But he's kind of just like a better version of Kinami in some ways.
Fair, fair.
Like not a lot of pop, bit of grit, left-handed batter. He can spray him to the opposite side. He's got a bit more speed than Kinami, and I don't know. I liked his presence on the Heroes podium the one time he was up there as well.
Right.
So
But
yeah,
I have to say that his glove is probably on par with Kinami's,
yeah,
which is below Kumagai's and Obata's.
yep. Agreed. But honestly, like shortstop is one of those things that, oh, please, for the love of God, Hanshin, draft a good shortstop. Please. Because obviously our boy Cam Devaney didn't pan out. They're not planning to use him at shortstop on the top team anytime this year. And the same would be true of Tateishi, our first round draft pick. They're probably not going to throw him into that position on the field, although they have used him somewhat. So he's been kind of up and down. I really am not counting on him to carry the team or to be the difference maker moving forward. But he, as well as Takatera, as well as who else have we thrown into left field? Obviously Maegawara until he got hurt, and a bunch of other different guys have been there. Let's talk about Takatera though, because he's gotten a decent amount of playing time this year. Whether he plugged a hole for Nakano at second base once or twice, and then he's played a lot of left. He played center while Chikamoto was out as well. Thoughts on his performance?
So obviously the fact that he gets to play a starting role, and they slotted in the 6 hole a number of times too, in
Mm-hmm.
addition to filling in for Chikamoto and even Nakano. They say that he has a little bit of pizzazz to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can be the difference maker, like the clutch guy, and he has hit a couple of game deciding RBIs, home runs, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the future is bright for him. I don't think he's quite there to pull the full load just yet,
Yeah.
but I want to see him keep seeing the field.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that if he was our number, I'm casting ahead into 2027. I would be happy to have him as like a number 8 or number 9 hitter. But I don't think that
Number
he's the
9.
guy
Okay,
for
you
number
got the
6 or number
DH in there
7.
now. Okay.
I'm sorry?
You got the DH planned in there, so
Yeah,
number
yeah,
9.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, okay, so this is where our talks break down because I want to cut to the chase here instead of going to number 7, 8, and 9 right away. Basically, our lineup is especially with Chikamoto not functioning well yet, it's numbers 2 through 5. That's it. The other teams don't have a ton else to worry about. I think that a lot of the rest of our lineup, as far as the batting goes and the performance, it's kind of at replacement level or below. There's very little depth on our team.
It's not exactly instilling fear in the pitching squad,
Not at
the
all.
opponent.
Yeah, not at all. And even in the fans, like when I'm watching a game and I see, oh, coming up in the bottom of the 6, we've got our numbers 7, 8, and 9 or 6, 7, 8 hitters. I'm like, okay, here comes a 0. Like I have zero expectation for these guys, which is really unfortunate.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean the catchers, we'll just say this real quick, but we definitely have been using them with a decent amount of equality or just like, you know what I mean? There's no clear-cut starting catcher. We've got Fushimi, who came over from the Fighters. He's been the catcher for Takahashi as well as a couple of other spot starts. And then Sakamoto and Umeno have really been kind of splitting the load the rest of the way. So I don't know what to say. I mean, they're all kind of garbage with the bat, and they're all pretty good at calling a game for their respective pitchers.
Yeah, and I think when you factor in their ages too,
Yeah.
I think this might actually be the best with the cards that we've been dealt.
The best for this year, but the worst for years
exactly.
to come.
Yeah.
Right?
No, not for the future, but just this year. That's how we should be playing the cards.
Yep. Sure. Okay. And then shortstop again has just been this, revolving door where we have Kinami. Oh, okay, he stinks. Obata. Okay, he's not very good. Kumagai. Oh, he's not producing. And now we've got Motoyama. So like all these guys have taken their turn. None of them have really, again, just kind of cutting to the chase. None of them have been better than replacement. None of them have outright taken that position and said, it's mine. Leave me alone. I got this.
Yeah. So I mean, all Fujikawa can do at this point is to play whoever's hot.
Yep. And right now that's Motoyama. And again, I think he's doing okay, but I'm not going to place any full judgment on him until the season plays itself out. All right. Well, now we've gotten to the pitchers, and we've spent a ton of time already talking about the players, but let's look at some of our rotation guys, at least like the regulars in there. Okay. So we've got as our opening day pitcher, we had Murakami, and he kind of sputtered a little bit towards the start of the year, but lately he has been dynamite.
Lights out yesterday.
Yeah. Complete game shutout of the Giants. What more can you ask from that guy in that position? Love it. And then the other guy that was supposed to be ace number 2 was Hiroto Saiki, and I think kind of the same story. Like he laid a few eggs, and I mean for a while his ERA was upward of 3. It seemed like he was giving up a lot more home runs than he should have. But lately he's settled down and really taken a hold of things and pitched deep into games and allowed very few runs. And what happened to him on Friday, down to his final strike, going for the CGSO and being taken deep by Dalbec, that was a dagger in his heart and in the heart of all Tigers fans.
No kidding.
But I'm happy with Saiki on the whole.
Oh yeah, I mean, as Fujikawa himself said, those are our double aces.
Yeah, he's leading the league in strikeouts, and Murakami is leading the league in innings pitched. And those are our two quote-unquote best pitchers, and we haven't talked about our true best pitcher yet, and that would be Haruto Takahashi, who is sitting pretty with an 11-1 record, which could be 12-1 had the team not coughed up his lead against the Bay Stars last week.
The scary thing about this is that if we didn't have Haruto Takahashi, we'd be at 500 right now.
Yeah, exactly. In games that he hasn't pitched, we are exactly 500, which is very scary. And it's not, the thing is though, he hasn't even gotten a bunch of run support,
No.
So the fact that he has gritted out these 11 wins, like a lot of them were just kind of single-handedly, I got you guys, score me 2 runs and I'm good.
Yeah, that's what his ERA at 1.7 means.
Yeah.
Give me 2 runs, I'm good.
So I think, though, the story is kind of similar with the pitchers as it is with the hitters, in that we have these 3 otherworldly starters, and then the rest of the starters haven't gotten it done this year. And I know you got a soft spot for your man Otake. And I'm not saying that he's not performing well. His 3-7 record is not indicative of how well he's done, but he also hasn't been quite good enough to take that fourth spot in the rotation and say, "You're not skipping me. Don't even think about it."
Right, and he has laid an egg recently against Hiroshima after he dominated them for what 3 years? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mentioned this to you. We went through what is it, a 5-game stretch or something, where the starters did not get the decision or did not get a win despite quality starts. I mean, that's on the bats.
Yeah, which
can't
brings us
really,
back to the point that we'd made earlier, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't really fault the pitchers for not having the records that they maybe should have with, the SoftBank Hawks batting lineup, supporting them.
Right. Right. And so, his 3-7 record is not, it's not awful. Definitely by no means is it. I mean, the record itself, like on paper, is, but the peripheral numbers that go along with that are not that bad. I mean, you've got, for his ERA, he's sitting at a 2.67. So tell me, how do you start 12 games and only win 3 of them with a 2.67 ERA? It's by having lousy run support.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that said, again, he's only had 12 starts, and you can compare that to 18 for Murakami, 17 for Saiki, and 15 for Takahashi. So he is fourth on the chain. I would like to see him with having more starts, just as someone that, if he kind of earns that reliability again. And again, I'm not saying that he is terrible, but he definitely hasn't quite done as much as we were hoping for, just in terms of going longer in games and so on and so forth.
Not for lack of trying.
Right. And I expect good things from him in the second half. So our other starters, again, we're not going to talk about each of them individually, but in terms of starts, we've got Yuki Nishi, believe it or not, with 6 starts this year and a 2.4 ERA, so not too bad. Takato Ihara with 6 starts and a 3.71 ERA, so that's not great. Masashi Ito with 4 starts and a 3.2 ERA. And then we have our Golden Rookie 2.0 in a sense of Kaito Shimomura, who is our first round draft pick in 2023. And he underwent TJs. Anyways, 3 starts for him, 3 starts for Easton Lucas, who is hurt but is potentially coming back. 3 for Hidetoshi Ibaragi, who's not good, didn't do well, and is not doing so well on the farm. Side note, he allowed 12 runs in 1 inning against the Hawks on the farm, and they made him go through that inning to its end, and he threw 61 pitches in that inning, Sanjay.
Wow, that's a game.
Yes. Poor guy. Anyhow, and then 4 guys with 1 start apiece. And so our starters, like outside of those top 3, and you could make some room in there for Otake as being a reliable starter. Then we've got no reliability after that. So that's kind of unfortunate because I know we thought that we had an embarrassment of riches. Well, not really the case.
Well, let me just interject though and say that Shimomura didn't embarrass us in his last start. And he's sporting a 2.12 ERA. I think great things are coming from him.
Yeah. But the question is, can we ride him out every 6 games or once a week the rest of the year? That remains the question mark. And so we'll see. Okay, I have good hopes for him, but not really sure if we can fully count on him, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of the relievers, I think that we've seen a step back from Iwazaki. That said, his ERA on the year is 3. Which is not atrocious, but it's definitely not up to his standards and not up to the golden standards that we have for our bullpen. So Iwazaki is a concern to me. Dolis, not a concern, although, there have been a couple games that he has been a concern, but he's got a strikeout rate of 11.8 per 9 and an ERA of 1.31 and the most mounds of any player on the team.
Don't you think that every outing is an adventure with him?
Yeah, and yet his whip is not that bad as a 1.17. So it's not like he, I think the times that he goes 3 up, 3 down go unnoticed. It's almost like an umpire. When he calls a clean game, you don't notice him.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. But who has come along is Taisei Kudo.
Oh, yeah.
163. Yeah. And ridiculous. He's got a great strikeout rate again of 10.47. He threw an immaculate inning this year, which was awesome. His walk rate is way down from what it was last year. So very happy with him. Kinoshita has come along well with a 2.31 ERA and 18 relief appearances. So his ERA as a reliever is even lower because he had one start and it wasn't great. And then our disappointments, though, guys that were regulars last year that we were counting on, you got to include in there Oyokawa with his 4.79 ERA and Kirishiki with his 7.04 ERA.
He's not even seen the mound. Yeah.
No, actually, he's been starting games on the farm, which is interesting. But then also we have the absence of Daichi Ishii from last year, right? So he blew his Achilles tendon and he's working to come back. He's already pitching, not in games, but he's pitching down on the farm. So he's getting ready to be in games down there. And I'm hoping maybe for like a late August return for him, but we'll see. And then our foreigners. So Moreta has had 19 relief mounds and a 6.19 ERA, which is obviously way higher than we would want. So overall, the bullpen though has just not been what it was last year, right? Like how we can count how many times that they have blown leads that the starters and the bats gave us, or also just times that they made bad games worse, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So on the whole, though, that is the team. That's the recap of the team. And man, we went way longer than I thought, but I hope you all enjoyed listening to it. And now for our third section of the pod, I want to do some predicting. And so we're going to look at what's up for August and September.
What's gonna happen? What's the record gonna be? What's gonna happen? What's the record gonna be? What's gonna happen? What's the record gonna be? What's gonna happen? What's the record gonna be?
See the future? Yes, they can. Check it out. H10 predictions. See the future? Yes, they can. Check it out. H10 predictions.
What's gonna happen? What's the record gonna
So
be?
Sanjay, as I said, we are 50, 40, and 1, which means that we have got 52 games left. The Giants are 50, 40, and 2, which means that they have got 51 games left. And we're tied for first, obviously. What do we got to do to win? So I'm going to break down for you what we've got left on the schedule, not game by game, but team by team. Okay.
Mhm.
So who we're facing the rest of the way for how many games and what our record's been so far and what we need to do or what I think we need to do in order to assure us a repeat of last year and being champions at the end of the year. So we'll start with the team that we have the most games left against. How about that? So we have got still 13 games left against the Yakult Swallows, which I think bodes well because we faced them at their best this year. And I think that the rest of the way we're going to face them at their worst.
I'll buy that.
So we're 7-5 against them so far, which is not great. But considering they were the quote unquote good Swallows for a lot of those games, that's actually not too bad. But actually, so we have 8 games left against them at Jingu, 3 at Kyocera Dome, and 2 at Koshien.
I think we don't fare that badly at Jingu versus them.
I'm not sure how we've fared so far, but I have a feeling like overall we're actually pretty good there. So what I have here for us, I think that we need to go 5-3 at Jingu, 2-1 at Kyocera, and 2-0 at Koshien. That would give us a 9-4 against them the rest of the way. And I think that's good enough of a beatdown of the Swallows to
That sounds doable.
to get us a good start towards the championship. Okay. Next, we've got the Yokohama Bay Stars. We've faced them 13 times and gone 7-6 against them to date. We've got 8 games left against them in Yokohama and 4 games left at home at Koshien. So
They're the more problematic team, in
Yes.
my opinion.
100%. 100%. And, in years past, we've talked about the Bank of Yokohama because we cash in and earn some big paychecks there. But that really hasn't been the case this year so far. Well, I mean, we've only played like 4 or 5 games there anyways, but I think they're a concern. I have, though, that if we can go like 7-5 in those 12 games, I think we're okay.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. So I have 5-3 at Yokohama and 2-2 at home. The Tigers have actually been pretty bad at Koshien this year.
They have.
Yeah, it's surprising, and it really hurts to go to games because more often than not, pretty much more often than not, they've been losses. I think they're below 500 at Koshien.
I think that's right.
Yeah. Or if not, they're really close. Okay, so that's the Bay Stars. Next, we will go to a team that we have 10 games left against. That would be the Hiroshima Carp. So far, we are 8-6-1 against them. And we have 4 games left at Mazda Zoom Zoom, and we have 6 games left at Koshien against them. I think we're capable of 6-4.
If Osaka can round out the form versus the Carp again,
Uh-huh.
we can easily do 6-4 or better.
You know, they're a team that they're riding a bummer, and they typically do that in September as well. They slide, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think we might even be able to slap them around to the tune of a 7-3. But I'm being conservative with a 6-4. Anyhow, that's that. And then we've got 9 left against the Dragons. The good news is that we are 12-4 against them so far. And
Here.
This is a team that I didn't expect we were going to do very well against, because last year they're the only team that had a winning record against us. But we've turned that around. And we only have 3 games left at that stadium that we all hate playing in, or like I've ever played there. But we have 3 games left at Vantolin Dome at the end of our long road trip, or set of road trips in August. But I figure if we can go 2-1 to end off that road trip, because we tend to end that road trip strong. So I'll say a 2-1 there. And then at Kyocera and Koshien, again, if we go 2-1 at each of those, that's a 6-3 against them. I think that's even being conservative. Like, I think we can do 7-2, but I don't want to jinx us. So I'm going to say 6-3 for that.
Well, remember that Vantolin Dome is not the same Vantolin Dome that we used to hate because of the wing seats that they put in.
Correct.
With a shorter porch in right and left.
More home runs.
Where I think we've had more success than they have had.
Well, I think that's true for all of their opponents. I think that's
I don't know.
Fired on them, which is why they're in 6th place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, we've got 8 games left against our big-time rivals, the Yomiuri Giants. And so far, we're 10-7 against them on the season, which is pretty good. The bad news, in a way, is that we've been pretty bad at Koshien against them this year. I think we have a losing record at Koshien and a winning record, like a big-time winning record at Tokyo Dome.
How many?
I could look it up, but I'm lazy. No. Why don't I look it up? Yeah, let's see. Okay, so Tokyo Dome, the first series we got. Oh, wait, hang on a second. There we go. First series, we won 2 out of 3.
Yep.
Chotomate, that's the wrong team. Hang on. I was looking at the wrong thing. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the first series at Tokyo Dome, yeah, we did win 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. Then we lost 3 straight at Koshien to them, and then beat them in 2. Then we swept them at Tokyo Dome. Then we won 2 out of 3 at Tokyo Dome, and then we lost 2 out of 3 at Koshien. So yes, indeed, we have been much better at Tokyo Dome than Koshien. So anyways, we have 4 games left in their barn and 3 in ours. 4-4, I should say. So I'm hoping for a 5-3 the rest of the way on that. That would put us at 15-10 against them on the season. That would give us 2 automatic game cushion on them if we can win that series, like the remaining 8 games, right? So I think that, again, if we add up all of what I said I hoped would happen, that would push us to 83, 59, and 1 on the year. That also, though, means that we would have to go 33 and 19 the rest of the way, which is, I mean, that's quite a tear. That's 14 games over 500, where we've only been 10 over so far. But the reason that I think this is possible is because Chikamoto's back.
It's not undoable.
It definitely isn't, especially if we get the pitching that we think that we can get from our arms as well. So the bad news in all of this, though, is that the Giants actually have 12 games left against the Bay Stars, and they are 10-3 against the Stars. So, if they pull off like a 9-3 against the Bay Stars the rest of the way, I don't think they can maintain it necessarily, but if they do, that's 6 games in their tank right there, right? They've got 8 against the Dragons, against whom they're kind of a wash, so they might finish those 4-4. They've got 14 left against the Carp, against whom they are 7-4 so far. So let's say in 14 games they might go like 9-5. So that's, again, another 4 in their tank. And then against the Swallows, they've got 9 games left, but they have a losing record against the Swallows. So we kind of have to count on the Swallows to keep kicking them around, and then we have to kick them around, and then I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. And if I may add one more thing that I picked up while I was watching one of the gazillion YouTube shows that I do watch.
Go.
Kataoka and Takagi Yutaka, the former, greats and so on, whatever, we're talking, and they're saying that the outdoor games in the summer are tough.
Yeah.
Even for night games. And that's where they worry about with the Tigers players. Not just Tigers, but Hiroshima is also an outdoor team and so on. And that's partially might explain their swoon in September, is that they start practicing at 2 p.m.
Yep.
And it's friggin' hot. And by the time game time rolls around, you're like exhausted.
Yep.
And so the dome teams have this built-in advantage over the outdoor teams.
Right. Yeah.
And that worries me. And that's something Fujikawa touched upon when he said that we have 50-something games remaining and not everybody can play every game. So we're going to expand the number of playable players and try to give people as much rest as they can get.
Yeah. And I think that is another advantage that we have. We have an experienced manager and the Giants have a temp. So we didn't touch on that in this pod, and we have never touched on this pod, and that's okay. We don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. So we'll leave that alone. All this to say, though, Sanjay, bottom line, I know your answer already, but I'm going to make you say it. Are the Tigers going to repeat as Central League champs in 2026?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. I'll add one more yes on the end of that to concur with you. And so all the folks out there who are listening to us, we thank you for listening, and we hope that you've enjoyed our little analysis of how things have gone so far and what we anticipate is going to happen moving forward. This is going to be the end of today's episode. If we have a chance, Sanjay, I hope we can do this again. The good news for me, and maybe indirectly the rest of you, is that I'm on summer break for the next month and a half from school, so I have a little bit more time on my hands. Might be able to get this mic in front of my face a little bit more. If you all want to keep listening, I expect you to put some comments up on the Substack or in Spotify or wherever you find our podcast. I would appreciate for you to contact us and let us know how you feel about our content. But we're signing off now. Sanjay, thanks so much for your time today. Appreciate it. And thank you all for your time for listening. Let's go, Hanshin Tigers!
Ganbare Hanshin Tigers!